Hello, and welcome to Football Czar, the channel dedicated to bringing you definitive lists of the greatest football players in the world. In this final installment, we will be exploring the final top 10 greatest Premier League players of all time. The Premier League is the most watched sports league in the world, broadcast in 212 territories, to 643 million homes, and a potential TV audience of 4.7 billion people. It has seen some of the greatest football players of all time, and here we will take you through the final top 10, in this two-part series. Starting our final top 10 countdown, we begin with Roy Keane. Keane was not only successful and gifted, but also carried a fear factor, which saw him win the midfield battle every time. He was at the centre of the engine room for Manchester United for more than a decade, and rarely lost a tussle. He ended Alf-Inch Haaland's career, and was less than remorseful about it, cementing his reputation as an ultimate hard man. Don't doubt it though, he was a footballing talent. Take Sir Alex Ferguson's word for it, remarking on Keane's performance against Juventus in 1999. "It was the most emphatic display of selflessness I have seen on a football field. Pounding over every blade of grass, competing if he would rather die of exhaustion than lose. He inspired all around him. I felt it was an honor to be associated with such a player." In at number 9 on our list, we have Peter Schmeichel. Schmeichel was to be voted the world's best goalkeeper in 1992 and 1993. He captained Manchester United to a historic treble in 1992, was part of the Denmark team who won the 1992 European Championships, and if that wasn't enough, remains the most capped Danish player, with 129 international appearances. A fierce competitor, he was known for his loud, unstinting criticism of mistakes by his defenders, and unusually for a goalkeeper, Schmeichel scored 10 goals during his career, including one for the national team. He spent his better years under Sir Alex Ferguson at Manchester United, then moved on to Aston Villa, and later Manchester City for some less successful spells. Without a doubt, the best goalkeeper the Premier League has ever seen. Period. Patrick Vieira in at number 8, on our list of the greatest Premier League players of all time. Vieira was one of the key components in Arsenal's invincible season. He anchored Arsene Wenger's midfield, often alongside Gilberto Silva, with proficiency, to allow his attacking teammates space and time. Even his 9 red cards can't sour his record, which stands 3 Premier League titles and 4 FA Cup triumphs. He came back for a final spell with Manchester City, having swapped London for Italy in 2005, picking up one last trophy for the road. During his 9-year stint in the Premier League, Vieira established himself as a dominating, box-to-box midfielder, noted for his aggressive and highly competitive style of play, an attitude that also helped him excel. Following retirement, Vieira transitioned into coaching, where he took charge of the academy at Manchester City, in 2013. On to number 7. Widely regarded as one of the best strikers of his generation, it's Alan Shearer. He doesn't have the medals that compare with most on this list, but we all know how much quality this guy possessed. Earlier in his career, especially at Southampton, Shearer played a more creative role, providing chances for fellow strikers, and making runs into space. But it was later on, he would play a more forward role, after his age robbed him of some of his pace. He was a traditional, direct striker, who averaged 0.667 goals per game during his professional top-flight career. Just over 2 goals every 3 games. The former England international was a threat anywhere on the pitch, but especially in the air. He was constantly able to get the better of defenders during aerial duels. He is the leading Premier League all-time scorer, and holds that same record for Newcastle United as well. His 260 league goals will take some beating. We have Tony Adams coming in at number 6. Tony Adams is one of the best central defenders the English game has seen, and was standout performer in the Premier League during his playing days. A very influential figure at the back, Arsenal benefited from his presence, and have thanked him appropriately, with a statue of him outside of the Emirates Stadium, having spent his entire playing career of 22 years for the club. Omitting defenders is an easy mistake to make when compiling lists like this, but Tony Adams was an unforgettable player. He featured in the Team of the Decade for the Premier League's first 10 seasons, cementing his place as one of the best defenders to feature on our screens. When his playing career finished, Adams went into football management, spending periods in charge of Wycombe Wanderers, Portsmouth, Azerbaijani side Gabala, and Spanish side Granada. Five. It's none other than Cristiano Ronaldo. Hands down, one of the best players to have ever graced the game. So it's no shock to see him on this list at all. He didn't spend as long as most on this list, in the Premier League, but that doesn't mean he can't achieve a high place. He's the second best player in the world, after all. The 42-goal season he produced with Manchester United was absolutely sensational, and whilst many thought he'd crumble under an £80 million price tag, he more than replicated that form at Real Madrid. Didier Drogba probably wishes he'd never enlightened the Portuguese winger as to how he strikes his free kicks. One of the most marketable and famous athletes in the world, Ronaldo was ranked the world's highest paid athlete by Forbes in 2016 and 2017, and the world's most famous athlete by ESPN from 2016 to 2019. Thierry Henry comes in at number 4 on our list. He took a little while to get going, but the Juventus outcast positively lit up the Premier League once he found his spiritual home in Arsenal's attack. Able to operate centrally, but even more effectively off the left side, Henry brought us almost endless joy, with some superb goals over the years. Under longtime mentor and coach Arsene Wenger, Henry became a prolific striker, and Arsenal's all-time leading scorer with 228 goals in all competitions. He won the Premier League Golden Boot a record 4 times, won 2 FA Cups, and 2 Premier League titles with the club, including one during an unbeaten season, dubbed the Invincibles. He spent his final 2 seasons with Arsenal as club captain, leading them to the 2006 UEFA Champions League final. Then finally in June 2007, he transferred to Barcelona. Into the final 3 now, and coming in 3rd place, we have Dennis Bergkamp. The non-flying Dutchman was an insanely skilled player, who enjoyed a fabulous 11-year career with Arsenal. The incredibly gifted support striker is the only Dutchman ever to be inducted into the FIFA Hall of Fame, thanks to his mastering of the whole role in Arsene Wenger's formation. His vision, dribbling, and finishing skills were truly dazzling to watch, with multiple goals featured in the all-time jaw-dropping moments in Premier League history. He has one of the most impressive sets of individual accolades ever, receiving numerous Footballer of the Year awards, and was the 1992 European Championships top goal scorer. He has been described by Jan Mulder as having the finest technique of any Dutch international, and a dream for a striker, by teammate Thierry Henry. Paul Scholes is in 2nd place on our list. He may well be one of the fundamental reasons why Manchester United won the Premier League title so many times. Even after having been hauled back from retirement after a glittering career, he showed prowess and poise, combined with a deadly fizzing shooting threat. 11 league titles and 2 UEFA Champions League winners' medals shows the pedigree of a man who has stood out amongst the rest for over 15 years. Zinedine Zidane called Scholes his toughest ever opponent, and Socrates admitted he'd be good enough to play for Brazil. An absolute shame he was used as a left midfielder for the England national team, rather than centrally, where he could have been decisive. He spent his entire professional playing career with Manchester United, for whom he scored over 150 goals in more than 700 appearances. And our top spot goes to Ryan Giggs. Number 1 on our list of the greatest Premier League players of all time. Ryan Giggs has been simply incredible. It's difficult to find anyone who has been revered as heavily as the Welshman, and deservedly so. He has been a loyal servant to Manchester United, with the silverware to show for it. There are few other men so decorated in their respective careers. Giggs has an astonishing 13 Premier League titles, 9 Community Shields, 4 FA Cups, 4 League Cups, and 2 UEFA Champions League trophies under his belt. Manchester United and Liverpool are the only clubs in English football history to have won more league championships than Ryan Giggs. Giggs announced his retirement from professional football on the 19th of May 2014, in an open letter to all Manchester United fans, posted on the club website. Upon retirement, Giggs received many plaudits for the achievements he earned throughout his career, and for the longevity of it he earned. And there we have it. Thanks for watching this two-part installment, exploring the greatest Premier League players of all time. Subscribe and stay tuned for more football greats across the world's leagues. Please like this video, and don't hesitate to share your opinions in the comments section. How would you rank the players featured on our list? Did we miss anyone out? And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe.